I friended somebody on Facebook who I thought was NASCAR driver Denny Hamlin.
I am down horrendous. You know why? Because I got scammed out of $1,800.
I almost got scammed. I can't believe it.
So today we have yet another round of scams that I've found in a very short period of time. This series will probably never end, but hopefully you'll be aware of some of the grifts that are floating around after watching this video. I mean, we have a ton of different examples to go over along with comments from you guys from previous videos. So if you want to be featured on a future video, leave in the comments down below. But let's start off with one that's eerily similar to a very popular news story we've seen in the past couple months.
I friended somebody on Facebook who I thought was NASCAR driver Denny Hamlin, and we developed a friendship, and it quickly turned financial, and I thought it was Denny Hamlin, and it became all about my money, and I ended up doing like 6 quantity $500 gift cards, and I was told that he had a briefcase stuck in customs and his documentation to get it inside the United States expired, so I ended up doing a withdrawal on my 401k and killed my IBM 401k. And then it kept being held in customs, and I ended up doing more loans on my other Global Foundries 401k, and I lost like $100,000.
I mean, initially, I would hope to think that this was completely scripted to get more viewers for their podcast, but as we saw in the news recently with the Brad Pitt AI scandal of somebody getting swindled out of either $600,000 or $800,000 from a scammer, no matter how ridiculous this sounds to so many people, it's not as uncommon as you think. I don't know why Denny Hamlin would be messaging you on Facebook with any of these problems, but just going by the sound of the guy's voice, he didn't sound super old. You know, most of the time you'll think, oh, it's just some really old person, 80, 85 years old. They're not really all there in the head anymore. They'll get tricked. I personally don't know the age of this guy, but he didn't sound like he was in that group. But I mean, we could take a look at some of the comments. I don't understand how you could possibly do that if you have a fully functioning adult brain. You really think Denny Hamlin would be asking for money? Same thing happened to me with LeBron James. I'm broke. Not true. I've been chatting with Denny Hamlin and he's actually stuck overseas. I've been sending him money to help get him back home. I know a lot of people turn this into a joke because it really does seem like satire. This isn't actually happening. It's all scripted. I honestly wish it was and it just went right over my head, but it really seems like people are still falling for this. We have another comment very similar from one of you guys. It's silly for that woman falling for the Brad Pitt scam. She must be really lonely. Thank God I'm not, as I've been texting Jennifer Aniston for months and says we'll get married one day. Oh man, it's depressing.
We just got scammed and we didn't realize it, but a woman pulled up on our street and she stopped right in front of our house because both of her back tires were blown out, and we thought it just happened, and she came out and looked like it just happened. So Jason went outside, and apparently she said she only needed $20. That's all she needed.
Only needed $20 to get the tow truck to come their way, and they were going to get picked up right around the corner. So I was like, yeah.
So he gives her the $20, and she's like, okay. She has a man in the car also, and she tells him to just ignore the man. And so then they drive away, and they go down our little side street that we can still see. And she gets out of the car again and acts like it's the first time she's seeing it. And then 2 neighbors come outside and they give her money.
A lot different than most of the scams we see. A majority of it is online. You don't know who the scammer is, but this person's going door to door basically, just taking money from people and going to the next. I don't know if this was an opportunity scam, because you slowly driving block to block with 2 blown out tires seems like a very odd setup to get $20 per person from whoever you can. But yeah, this is one that I have never heard of, and we have a little update in the comment section from the creator. WTF, this happened 2 hours ago, but she just drove by our house again. Tires are now just rims. It's loud when she drives by. She clearly never intended to get a tow truck. So you frying both tires and now messing up the wheel as well, trying to drive on it, will probably take away all your potential profit from scamming all the neighbors. I mean, what is happening here? And we could go over to just some of the screenshots that I've taken over the past few weeks with my email. I get a whole ton of BS sponsorships, just a bunch of scams in general. Because of this YouTube account here is apparently Sony wanting to collaborate with me. They apparently want to give me a PS5 Pro and some sort of headphones, even though my channel has virtually nothing to do with gaming. And if you look at a whole bunch of these emails, a lot of them are overseas or just known scammers. Here's Dr. Pepper apparently too. Here's another scam email trying to make it look like they're Rode microphones. I had Hulu as well. There's a number of different ones that I get almost every day. Here's just a couple of them that I screenshotted. Then of course, we're still getting the text, whether it's the toll roads or DMV. Here's a random text from an email account trying to impersonate the New Jersey DMV, even though I don't live in New Jersey anymore. And then another one that I've recently come across on some of my comment sections. These bots are trying to promote some sort of crypto. I mean, all of them happen within like 5 or 10 seconds of each other and just disappear after that. I've also told you guys previously that there are some people trying to impersonate me in my own comment sections, saying to go to some WhatsApp number, which clearly is not me. You're just going to get scammed. I've blocked a number of them from commenting, but if you do still ever see any of that, it's of course not me. And we have another comment from one of you guys. I get a ton of the toll text messages. I also get a lot of the post office text. Something like USPS wishes you a wonderful day is a big red flag. I've gotten those too: USPS, FedEx, UPS, I think DHL as well. All of them just end up being scams.
So the latest scam in restaurants is somebody will reach out to the restaurant asking for what is typically the wife's surprise 60th birthday. They'll be that specific on what they're trying to do, and what they will try to get you to do. It's gonna be like months in advance. And as the restaurant owner, they're gonna ask you to pay for the band through the restaurant, and then you will be reimbursed. If you pay the band, they will never pay you back. They will completely ghost you. I must say, I don't know who came up with this scam, but it's kind of smart. When this first is now, we've had 10 people reach out to us over the last year trying to do this exact same thing, all different people. But so we're not falling for it. But the first time it happened, I made the people that do our parties like go through it and like, no, hold on, it may be real. You gotta still follow up.
And of course, it's just a bunch of BS at the end of the day. Just a different iteration to a very common scam that's been around for a while. But now I guess it's making the rounds in the restaurant industry. Like he said, it's happened to him a number of times. We could look at the comments. Wedding photographer here. This is a very old scam in the wedding event biz. Usually they mention a family reunion and want to send you a check to cover all of the vendors. I get this scam every year as a wedding planner, so I guess it's very common there. It's the second one in a row. I get this email at least once a month and just delete. But as I've said in every one of these videos, even though it seems very common or ridiculous like the first clip, if it didn't end up working on at least some people, these scammers wouldn't use these methods. So there has to be some sort of success rate to these, or you'd never hear about them again. Another comment from you guys: I've been scammed. Don't ever give any money over Facebook for puppies. Don't answer anyone you don't know who's calling, and the tax man doesn't call you. But speaking of giving money to people over Facebook, we have another clip here.
I am down horrendous. You know why? Because I got scammed out of $1,800 trying to surprise my mom with Adele tickets. I was going to buy them from a resale site, but they were charging an extra $600 for processing fees, which I did not have. And so I was like, you know what? I got Taylor Swift tickets directly from someone. Let me try to do that with Adele tickets. And so I joined this big Facebook group that was like, oh, like reselling Adele tickets. 2,500 people are in this group. And so someone posted for the weekend that I was going, they're like, hey, I have 2 tickets in the blah, blah, blah section. And I was like, cool, I'll take them. And I was like, hey, like, I want to make sure this is safe. And she was like, yeah, like, I've been scammed before. I want to be careful. Why don't we go through one of the admin that run the page? Because like they've been helping facilitate to make sure like they do the background checks on people, blah, 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 to make sure they don't get scammed. And so I was like, great, I'm going to do that. So I worked with this lady, Christine Smith, on Facebook on this big chat. And so the lady was like, oh yeah, like, I'm happy to help. This is the way to make sure this is done safely. The original lady transferred her tickets to the middle lady. The seller was like, oh, like, I use Bitcoin. That's how I want the money. And I was like, I've never used Bitcoin before. The middle lady, who I wrongfully trusted, was like, that's okay. Like, I'll walk you through it. It's super simple. Here's how you buy Bitcoin.
An absolutely massive red flag if they want it in a cryptocurrency, if they want it in Bitcoin. I think it's an extremely dangerous game to do this in the Facebook groups in the first place. I know tickets are unbelievably expensive. Yes, the processing fees. What are they processing at the end of the day? They just want you to give them more money. And I guess this worked in the past with Taylor Swift, but whatever this group was with even 2,500 members was a giant racket. Of course, you have the person selling the ticket, and then you have the admins that are all in on it. And as soon as you transfer Bitcoin to into a wallet, it's gone. There is no refund, chargeback policy, nothing. All of your money disappears. So you could probably guess what happened at the end of that story. But yeah, if you see anybody who wants their money in Bitcoin and transferred to a specific wallet, I would take that as a huge red flag. That's a very easy way to get scammed. We have another comment here, indestructible dog toy scams. Dog toys that tear literally instantly and offer free replacements for an exorbitant shipping fee up front. I've never seen this before, but it's a good way to get people to go, oh, you know what, whatever. Even though I just lost $20, $25, I'm not going to pay a ridiculous shipping fee just to get the product replaced. I'm just going to let it go. And I mean, with the marketing we have on social media online right now, people can make a good amount of money before their operation gets shut down, even if they knew they had an absolutely inferior product.
I need you guys to start becoming technologically literate, okay? Social media literacy, all right? They are lying to you about everything. I don't think you guys understand. It's a personality. It's an alter ego. People are trying to make a living off of being entertaining and putting on a facade. They're always trying to sell you something. Like, I just saw a whole page that had over 16,000 followers, and they're drop shipping items from Temu. They're rinse and repeating videos that they got off of the internet, and they're making a sob story saying, oh, my grandfather made these. He was a Vietnam veteran, and he made these because he missed my grandma because she passed away. You click the bio, you click the link in the bio, a ton of different stuff. Be smarter, guys. Please be smart.
So this is a little bit different, turning into the online influencers. Whether it is a straight up scam like lying about homemade products when they're just drop shipped from Temu, or just entire personalities to be entertaining, and then maybe they partner up with other brands and have affiliate links, and they end up getting a whole bunch of money from you, and then one day their true colors are shown. I mean, how many different examples have you seen of that just in the past few years? There are entire drama channels on YouTube dedicated to just showing it almost every day. We can look at some of the comments. Half of the stuff on TikTok shop is on Temu or at Burlington. I think you guys know how much I hate TikTok shop sellers. They made fun of old people on Facebook falling for all this basic scams and became too blind to realize that they're being scammed themselves. It's just a new form of it. Oh, we'll never get scammed by email, the Nigerian prince, the phone calls trying to fix your computer, any of that stuff. But when it comes to buying stuff off a TikTok shop or people's courses for the drop shipping, any of that digital marketing, it clearly ends up getting a ton of people because there are a new one of these grifters that come up on my For You page almost every day.
This isn't real. I bought it on eBay. And this, I also bought it on the internet. It's called aged prop money. And together, I have a kit to convince you that I am running an automated channel empire. And you'd be so lucky if you bought my course and learned how to do it yourself.
So I mean, you might be able to see right, why can't I point? There you go. There's that one from this channel. I don't know why it took me 10 seconds to point trying to look at the camera, but having that or a gold play button with 1 million subs, buying a channel that's dead, or just buying the bots for the subscriptions to inflate the channel's size definitely makes it look like you have credibility if you start making any of the course type videos with the drop shipping or the channel automation. And all you really need to do is buy some props on eBay, completely lie to your audience, and start racking up money. Sticking with the topic of a lot of online influencers, we have another one here.
Ever come across this jewelry business on TikTok? They're Nathaniel Page Peace, they're an age gap couple, and they claim to sell real authentic jewelry. But for the past 2 years, this subreddit has been exposing them for selling cheap or inauthentic gems. Some claiming that they found the gems on Temu or AliExpress or other similar sites. And so far, they've claimed that they've never even shopped at Temu before for personals, and definitely not for business. But today, Nate accidentally flashed his emails, showing that they have been in fact ordering from Temu for some time. I plan to make a longer, more in-depth video about this, but if you know, you know, and this is huge.
So we have another influencer scamming their viewers. You build up an audience, a relationship, you start selling jewelry, maybe that was their niche, and people will believe you because they've been watching you for a good amount of time. And all along, you've been drop shipping stuff from one of the worst websites you can. Just another one up on screen as well I thought was funny, buying a a set of pots and pans from Temu, and you could clearly see the quality as you could just bend and break them with your own hands. I don't think I really have to tell you guys how bad Temu is. There are a ton of different videos online showing how bad the products are. I actually have those same pots from Temu. I said to my boyfriend, I think it's a kid's play set. Don't use them. The paint burns off. Okay then. Okay, but I just imagine all the chemicals and the cheap materials. Yeah, nothing you want to be cooking food in at all. But we have another comment from one of you guys that goes well with the next clip. I don't answer my phone any longer. Every call is a scam. And to be honest, I'm on the same boat. A good amount of the calls that I get are automatically silenced because it's very rare that I'd be talking to somebody who's not already in my contacts. And if anybody does end up reaching out, I'll just see the voicemail and end up calling them back because there are just so many scams now.
So I get a phone call. My daughter's on the other line. She's crying. She says, Mom, I've been in a horrible car accident and I'm at the ER right now and they won't give me any treatment because they won't accept my insurance or something. And someone from the hospital is going to call you. Then I get a phone call in the caller ID says the hospital name. The hospital associate says that they can't accept her insurance and they can't give her life-saving treatment until they have some type of payment on record for her, and I can't use a credit card, so I need to wire money, and they're just going to hold it as a deposit, and I'll be able to dispute this very easily with my insurance carrier. This did not happen to me. This happened to one of my followers, and they shared the story with me.
Now, this is another one that's still around. I know most of the time they try to get older people. Oh, it's my grandchild that has this problem. Maybe they're overseas. They really need this money or they're going to get in trouble, or maybe they're sick. They are in the hospital. And unfortunately, one of her viewers was scammed out of $75,000. A scam from the very beginning. I would have hung up and called my daughter. This happened to my mother. They told her, don't tell anyone. They scammed her for $3,000. She went to CVS to get more gift cards, and even the lady at the CVS store told my mother it was a scam. My dad gets these calls. It's a lot more common than you think. We have a kind of funny comment from one of you guys. I miss my Nigerian prince. He was so simple. Going back to one of the original online scams, you get an email from a Nigerian prince saying that he needs a certain amount of money from you because he's in some sort of trouble, and as soon as he's out of it, he's going to give you $1 million, and you know you're not getting that money. But yeah, it's a lot more advanced now. They get very close to the caller IDs, very similar numbers. I mean, we have this example too. This guy was very close to losing a ton of money.
I almost got scammed. I can't believe it. So I just got a call from USAA, what I thought it was. It had the same phone number and the caller ID. It literally said USAA and then the phone number. And I know that number pretty well because I've been working with USAA for a long time. Anyway, so they're like, hey, we noticed that you tried to transfer $5,000 and $8,000 to someone in Chicago. We got a flag in our system. We just want to make sure everything is okay. Keep in mind, this guy spoke perfect English. So I was like, no, I definitely didn't do that. Thank you for the call. And he's like, yeah, no problem. And we're going to go ahead and, disable your card because that one's been compromised. It's the card ending in 1234. And I was like, yep, that's my card. I have it right here. And he's like, okay, sounds good. We're going to disable that one. We're going to send you a new one. It'll be there in 2 days. I'm like, perfect. Thank you so much. And he's like, okay, in order to close out this claim, I just need you to go to your app. And I was like, okay, go to my app. And he's like, go to your top right-hand corner. Go to my top right-hand corner. And he's like, okay, and then just tell me your USAA ID number. And I was like, no one's ever asked me to do that.
And right there is how you'll get scammed and lose your account and all the money that's in it. But I'm glad that he realized that this was something off. He ended up hanging up and calling USAA again. And the actual person who worked for the company said, yeah, that was a scam. That was not them. And giving away his ID would have compromised the entire account. So I really don't blame people now for just not answering phone calls at all anymore. But we have a comment from one of you guys, a very similar situation. If your bank calls you about anything, tell them you have to call them back. Hang up and call your bank, not the number they gave you. They'll be able to tell you if it's a scam or not. And that's exactly what the guy did in the last clip and saved him from getting scammed in the end.
91-year-old Alan Colbert was shivering as he described the phone call he received from a Montana-based lending company called Plain Green Loans.
It was very deceptive to me, the way it was presented.
Struggling on a fixed income, the Harvard-educated Vietnam and Korean War veteran needed to buy Christmas presents for his grandchildren. After applying online, he says Plain Green Loans was one of the only companies to accept his application for a $900 loan. The company advertises an excellent 5-star rating with better rates and an easy, straightforward process.
It didn't make any sense.
Yet, unbeknownst to Colbert, his loan agreement came with a huge catch, a 682% interest rate.
I was shocked.
And it's not advertised anywhere on the front page of the website, but in small font through another hyperlink halfway down the page.
And during that initial conversation with them, at any point did they tell you they would be charging you interest?
Not to my knowledge.
Of course they're not going to tell them. It was almost 700%. I've made an entire dedicated video talking about predatory payday loans, and this is exactly the reason why. People are drowning in credit card debt when we're talking, what, maybe 30, 32% interest rate, and that's high. So when you have 680%, it's almost unimaginable how much you'd have to pay back just from the $900 he tried to borrow. But now we'll switch over to something you've probably heard in the news over the past few months. All the issues with the AI advancing, taking people's jobs, a lot of the videos, AI slop on any social media, the dead internet theory, the comment sections. I mean, we could go on, but this type of issue we're about to see is going to get a lot more common in the future.
Millions of people have watched this video on TikTok, but it's fake. It's one of several AI-generated fakes that have gone viral after the deadly earthquake in Myanmar. There's been plenty of footage of real devastation. So how do we know this video isn't real? We found this early version of the clip on TikTok, and it has a watermark of an AI video generator. This clip alone had over 14 million views. Versions which cropped the watermark out spread across social media too. But even without a watermark, there are some telltale signs of AI generation. One expert has told us that one of the clearest signs of AI fakery in videos like these is people. Viewers should watch out for any unnatural or unrealistic moves, like these jerky movements of people here. And the video just doesn't look like the location it claims to be from. The footage is set to show the city of Mandalay. There are temples in the area that do look similar to the ones in the AI video, but nowhere can you see them laid out like this. This AI fake seems to be a growing trend of engagement farming when there's breaking news. While they may not always cause harm in real life, fakes like this can add to confusion at a time when it's important to know what you can trust.
And I honestly think it's only going to get worse, because if you watch the advancement of AI videos from just a few years ago to what it is now, the type of issues that they were trying to point out with the people looking weird, they weren't walking naturally, or the temples weren't in the right place of what you'd normally see in the city, all of that's going to be fixed, and it's just going to become even more real, to the point where it's going to be difficult to trust anything you see on your phone. There's basically no way of stopping this either, even though it's almost universal that everybody dislikes AI, but it's still just chugging forward. We could look at some of the comments. I'm so sick of AI. I can't believe some people's initial thought when a disaster happens is to make an AI video of it. It's for that engagement, the clicks, the views, the attention, which eventually turns into money. There should be a law to know when it's fake or not. I mean, I believe there's a law against deep fakes with adult content, but that's going to be extremely difficult to pass for just videos in general. But we could go over to somebody who fell for one of the MLMs.
I'm so frustrated. I was just at a street fair and this lady was selling these books and I thought they were so cute. Like, seriously, look how cute. And I bought 2 books for my daughter and she hands me a flyer and she was like, oh, I'm going to be here next weekend. You know, you should think about doing it. And I was just like, okay, I don't know what that means. Think about doing what? Going to the festival? Okay, sure. Then I get home and I read the flyer that she handed me. And it says something about being a consultant and earning 25% back in commission. Then I go online and search the name of the company. Paper Pie. Y'all, it's a damn MLM. I fell for an MLM. I directly contributed to an MLM. If you know me, that is against everything I stand for. I cannot believe I fell for it.
So I might make a dedicated video in the future. I know there are many channels that cover, any MLM you could really think of, but we've gone over it a couple times. The big ones, Amway, the Cutco knives, and apparently Paper Pie is another one selling kids books. If you get roped in, you gotta buy a whole ton of inventory and then try to sell it for a profit. So that's why so many people try to sell to their friends and family, and a vast majority of the time you're just out a whole ton of money because you couldn't sell the product. The only real way to make money is to get a ton of people into the pyramid scam, and then you get commissions off of them, and it just keeps expanding from there. But really only the founders of these types of companies are the ones who actually make a bunch of money. Everybody else just ends up getting screwed, and now they've expanded into the book selling world for kids.
I can officially say that my boyfriend and I have experienced our first scam holiday. We're in Morocco and we booked a luxury desert camp, which is £400 per night. We were due to stay there for 5 nights. We ended up only staying for 3. Like, it was that bad that we left early, no refund. I'm not going to talk for ages because I have a whole montage of the conditions of this place. So this is a Gaffe luxury camp, an absolute scam of a place. This was the room where we checked in. At this point, the vibes weren't off. It was pretty normal. Our bags were left outside though, but check-in was quite smooth. We then waited by the pool. This was fine. This was cool. Like, we had a beer, whatever. Unfortunately, though, we got hit with a massive sandstorm. This was just, like, so unlucky. Right, now, this is what we see when we walk to our room. I'm sorry. The actual conditions of this place, stuff like this is everywhere. I'm telling you, everywhere. This is your entrance to the hotel, okay? This is the first thing that you see. Like, I'm sorry, what? Like, that, what is that?
So I never knew that this was a thing until this video came on my For You page. But real quick, we can look at some of the comments. Agafe is the Temu or Shein version of the Sahara Desert. All Moroccans know that this is a scam. I'm sorry you had to experience this. I'm Moroccan and never chose these kinds of places. But yeah, this seems like another good marketing job. Most likely on social media showing you one thing, a luxury desert resort, which probably isn't my first place to go on vacation, but whatever. And you end up getting there and it's not what you expected. So I think one of the positives for a lot of the travel influencers on YouTube is that if there is any place that you want to go that you've never really heard before, other than maybe a few pictures on Instagram or maybe an ad, you could actually see full-length videos from these YouTubers. Now, I'm not saying it's 100% foolproof because these influencers will definitely ham it up to get more views. Maybe they got a partnership, but at least you know a little bit more of what you're getting into besides just a few pictures online.
Did you know there is a scam going around very, very recently about these Captcha tests? We've all had them where you've got to, click that you're not a robot, click how many buses are there, etc. Well, scammers are now using this very well-known test to make you do actions on a keyboard or on your phone, which would then allow them to access your device. But the thing is, you wouldn't know that you're actually, infecting yourself with this software. All you think is you're just verifying something to read an article or play a game or whatever you're doing online. You just think this is part of the norm because it normally is. But if there's ever anything asking you to do actions like hold, Control V and all this stuff, please don't do it because they will literally get in through the back door and have access to anything that they want. That sounded wrong, on your phone. So yeah, it's really, really quite a clever way to fool people because we've all had to do these boring tests and now they're using it to access devices. So yeah, please don't do anything they ask you like this. Just be a bit more clued up because a lot of people will just think this is normal, but it's certainly not normal.
So this is another new one that I've come across. Everybody's probably had to do the Captcha before, so probably is a good way to get into a lot of people's PCs to their phones, along with the next clip using QR codes.
All right, listen, people, listen. It's a new scam going on. Now, let me put y'all on before somebody gets scammed, okay? Somebody will send you a package to your house. You don't know where it came from. It will be a free gift. It might be cologne, it might be shoes, it might be a PS5. You never know. It might be car parts, okay? But it's free. And in the box will be the gift. And then it would also be a card, okay? A business card. And it will have a QR code on it with instructions. And it will tell you to scan the QR code, okay? When you scan that QR code, you're done. Your info is stolen. That's the whole point. Because people like free things. And the scammers know people like free things. So they send you a free gift so you can scan this QR code thinking you about to get a you welcome letter. And you just gave your info away. Don't get scammed, man.
I've also heard iterations that they could take everything from your phone as well, be able to control it the same way with the Captchas like the last clip. So with, of course, everybody being on their phones 24/7, Captchas also being a very common thing along with people shopping on Amazon, getting packages all the time. Both of these types of scams are probably very successful right now because, at least in my own experience, this is still relatively new. Maybe not a whole bunch of people know about it yet. So hopefully seeing this video, you'll be a little bit more aware. But we're going to end off on this. That's still pretty straightforward, but I guess still needs to be said in today's world.
If it sounds too good to be true, it is. And once again, they're pushing an affiliate link, this time to a site where you can make money by taking these stupid surveys. And these sites are the digital equivalent of digging through your couch cushions for change. According to Lifehacker, here's the real stat. In some cases, you'll end up earning less than $1 per hour, and at most up to $6 an hour if you are hustling nonstop. So here's the bottom line on this one: the juice ain't worth the squeeze. Now, if you've got some free time in your week, you will make way more with a part-time job or with a side gig than you would by telling some marketing company how often you buy frozen peas. Avoid this one. You can do better.
So overall, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is. The survey stuff, making money online, oh, it's so easy. You could be on your couch doing whatever, filling out these surveys, and then you're just raking in the money. That's clearly not the case. $1 to maybe $6 an hour. But that's all I got for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. YouTube thinks you'll like this video popping up on screen right now, but hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, and I'll talk to you guys later.